What up, everyone? Pat Mayo here with your DraftKings picks for the 2021 PGA Championship. Remember to smash the like button if you're out there and get in the Millionaire Maker contest on DraftKings, why don't you? But I'm here to talk about the high-priced players that you're going to be populating your lineups with and eating up most of your salary cap on DraftKings this week. When we go to the very top of the board, Rory Mcilroy, the defending champion at this course, albeit 9 years ago, coming off a win at Quail Hollow, his third victory at Quail Hollow nonetheless, highest priced player on the board at $11,500. Here's the thing, Rory is an excellent play. But what does the rest of your lineup look like if you put in Rory Mcilroy? And for that matter, Justin Thomas, who's $11,300. There's very few cases you can make against these guys, except for the fact that Rory's going to be incredibly popular. That's one. And two, what does the back end of your roster look like? If you have great feelings about some of these guys in the middle $6,000 area, then fine. Go ahead and jam in Rory Mcilroy. But you can get savings with just as elite golfers, and you can jam two of them or even three guys from $10,000, $9,000, and $8,000 to your lineup. And then overall, while you do have the cost of not having Rory on your DraftKings roster, your lineup overall might be a lot stronger because this is a field of 156. And there's 20 PGA professionals. They're not going to make the cut, so just cut them out. It's top 70 in ties this week. Plus, you have a whole bunch of old dudes who were former champions of the PGA Championship. So realistically, it's top 70 in ties with a field of, let's say, 135 players who can realistically make the cut this week. So over half the guys are going to make the cut. So if you did want to go Rory, then Stars and Scrubs could work as a higher percentage of the Scrubs are likely to make the cut versus almost any other major throughout the course of the season. However, if you can build that balance lineup and really get some win equity in there, it's probably best to fade Rory, hope he doesn't win, and then you're looking at Dustin Johnson, who very few people are playing. And whether it gets windy or the conditions are great, Dustin Johnson's just a guy that you're going to want to have in your lineup. And he is $600 cheaper right now than Rory Mcilroy. That's big savings at the back end. That's the difference between someone like Ryan Palmer and someone like Matt Wallace this week at the last man in on your DraftKings roster. So Dustin from the high end is where I would start my teams. If you want to save even more money, just go to Spieth. Spieth is 10-1. He's going to be incredibly popular. It's fine at that price point. That is a very cheap way to begin your lineup. So you could start your teams with Spieth and Xander and even jam in Colin Morikawa if you wanted to. I would prefer Victor Hovland at an even cheaper price in this circumstance. But Dustin and Spieth, if you want to start your teams that way, or even Spieth and Hideki. Hideki and Webb Simpson are two players that are being completely overlooked this week. And if the course does play difficult with the wind, you're going to want good ball strikers, which they are, both better iron players than drivers, but both have immaculate short games. So if you think that the winning score is going to be like -5 to -10, you're going to need guys that get the ball up and down and make a few putts. Hideki, for whatever reason, has figured out the putter just a little bit. Not so much last week at the Briar and Nelson, but coming into play, Hideki was making those putts, and he's so good around the greens that, making 3-footers is a lot easier than making a bunch of 9-footers. And ditto with Webb Simpson. Plus, he's one of the best putters on the planet anyway, and no one's using him. But my single favorite play on the entire slate is at $8,900. It's Cameron Smith. He and Will Zalatoris at $8,900 and $8,800. Probably the two guys I'm going to try to be jamming into most of my lineups. They are cheap for their potential upside. I like them in good conditions and bad conditions, but especially Cam Smith. What you're getting from him is the discount version of what Jordan Spieth provides. Both are not great drivers of the ball, although you can see a spike from Cameron Smith. He's just more erratic than bad off the tee, where Spieth, generally speaking, versus the other elite players in the world, his driver is his worst weapon. The irons, the chipping, the putting, that's all great. But it is too with Cam Smith, and he hasn't finished worse than 17th in any event since January, which is pretty impressive, coming off a win at a team event as well. So $8,900, he's the player that I will have the most in my lineups this week. Well, Will Zalatoris just had a terrible putting week at the Byron Nelson. He led the field in approach. He does that again this week. He's going to be inside the top 10, and he's $8,800. So that's where I would be going with my above $8,000 picks. You can tune into my other video up on the DraftKings YouTube page to find out which players you can complement these high-end pieces with below $8,000 if you want to play a Stars and Scrub roster, or you want to start your teams with a Xander Schauffele or a Jordan Spieth and take a more balanced approach in the DraftKings Millionaire Maker this week. I'm Pat Mayo.